Hello, Assalamualaikum, Miss Liana. Welcome to our event today. My name is Yasmin and I'm the MC for today. So basically kita akan begin shortly. Like we have to wait for other panels first and I hope you can get comfortable lah with us today. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Hello, Miss Liana. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you.
Hi. My name is Yasmin and I'll be the MC lah for today.
Okay. Nice to meet you, Yasmin.
Nice to meet you. We have to wait for other
Is-
panels first and after that baru kita boleh start the event.
Okay. Is everyone here from MSU or is everyone here?
Basically, Mr. Ahmad Imran is our moderator and the others is the organizer.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
Nice to meet everyone.
Hi, Miss.
Hello.
Miss, can I ask you a quick question, if you don't mind?
Yeah, that's fine.
Your association is called the Mental Illness Awareness and Support Association, right?
Yes, MIASA.
So, MIASA. So that is, a proper pronunciation of the acronym MIASA.
Yeah, MIASA. Yes.
All right. Thank you. Just like
You're
to clarify
welcome.
on that. Thank you.
Okay. If you guys have any further questions, feel free to ask me. I'll answer before we start or something.
All right. Will do. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi.
Hello, Miss Naseli.
Hello, Hanis.
Hi.
Hanis, right?
My name is Yasmin.
Oh,
Sorry?
Yasmin. Okay. Yasmin kan?
Yasmin, yeah. I'll yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so basically, Ahmad Imran here, we have he is our moderator for today. And the rest inside this Google Meet is our organizer lah.
Okay.
We're currently waiting for Professor Najib first from MSUC. And after that,
Okay.
baru kita boleh start.
Alright.
Thank
Satu
you.
Profesor Najib, satu lagi siapa?
Miss Liana from
Hi.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Hello, Assalamualaikum, Professor Najib. Professor, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Okay. So is everyone ready? Miss Liana, Miss Naseli, and Professor?
Yep.
Alright. So can we begin now? Alright, so we will start now. Alright, so as for those who just joined the seminar, welcome to Stop Body Shaming, Every Size and Color is Beautiful. A housekeeping to all. For those participants in Google Meet, please kindly turn off your camera and mic to avoid disruption during the seminar later. And to all audience, if you do have any questions, you may leave it on live chat during Q&A session, and only selected questions will be answered. A reminder to MSc students, please make sure to screenshot this YouTube live and upload it in the Google form for your JAMS purposes. The link will be given to you at the very end of the seminar later. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and a very good evening to Mr. Azizul bin Jamaluddin, Dean from School of Hospitality and Creative Arts, as HCA Management Team, our honorable panels, Professor Dr. Muhammad Najib, psychiatrist from MSU Medical Center, Ms. Nuruliana Faisal, Assistant Clinical Psychologist from Mental Illness Awareness and Support Association, MIASA, our guest panel, Ms. Naseli, our moderator, Mr. Ahmad Imran and Mustafa Kamil, lecturers, students, and the lovely audience. Welcome to Stop Body Shaming, Every Size and Color is Beautiful. My name is Hanis Yasmin and I'll be your host for today. But before we go any further, we will play a montage video for the audience to watch. Please enjoy. Now, without further ado, today's seminar is about body shaming awareness. As we all know, a lot of people have been dealing with this problem, where they think that their appearance is not good enough. What's worse is that some people tend to mock and downgrade other people's appearance, which is definitely not okay. Body shaming could easily lead to a person's insecurities, and people will eventually underestimate themselves. Therefore, in today's seminar, we will talk and discuss about body shaming and what are the ways to stop this from happening in our society. Moving on, I would like to invite our moderator who will be taking over this event. Our moderator, Mr. Ahmad Imran bin Mustafa Kamel, is a final year bachelor student in psychology from Management and Science University. He is also one of the Student Representative Council and has many experience in becoming an MC as well as a moderator in various events such as MSU's orientations, oath-taking ceremonies, and a lot more. So now, without further ado, let me invite our moderator for today. Mr. Ahmad Imran, the floor is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and a very good evening to all participants. Thank you, Miss MC Yasmin. So I would like to welcome Mr. Azul Jamaluddin, the Dean of School of Hospitality and Creative Arts, the School of Hospitality and Creative Arts management team, our honorable panels, lecturers, MSU students, and audience. Welcome to Virtual Talk, Stop Body Shaming. Every size and color is beautiful. My name is Ahmad Imran bin Mustafa Kamel. I am also part of the Student Representative Council of the Management and Science University, and I will be your moderator for today. So I know you guys are excited. So before we dive into our topic for today, I would like to introduce our honorable panels for today's event. So please welcome Professor Dr. Muhammad Najib bin Muhammad Alwi. He is a professor in MSU since September 2018, and he is also the psychiatrist in MSU Medical Center. He also has a PhD in medicine, psychiatry from the University of Sydney. He has a Master of Science, Clinical Psychiatry from the Imperial College London. He is also a member of the Royal College of Psychiatrists in United Kingdom. He is a Doctor of Medicine from USM, Science Matriculation from USM. He has also involved in many research and studies regarding mental health issues, with years of experience and handling patients in his lifetime. He's also involved in many talk shows and awarenesses here in MSU itself. So welcome, Professor. It's really an honor to have you here.
Hi, thank you, Iman.
We meet yet again, Professor?
Oh, yes. Anyway.
Okay, so and now I would like to welcome our second panel for today is Miss Nuruliana Faisal Azni from the Mental Illness Awareness and Support Association, MIASA. She is the Assistant Clinical Psychologist in MIASA and the Assistant Secretary of the National Coalition for Mental Wellbeing. She has a Master's of Science Psychology of Mental Health in the University of Edinburgh, United Kingdom, Masters in Arts, Islamic Studies in Da'wah and Human Development, University of Malaya. She also has a Bachelor in Psychology in Pre-Medicine in Stony Brook University in the United States of America. Please welcome Miss Liana. Thank you so much for being here, Miss. Oh.
Hi, guys.
Yes, Miss. Thank you, Miss. And now, for you all been waiting for, I know you've been waiting for this, and our exclusive guest for today is none other than Miss Nas Sally, a successful and popular Malaysian actress who has held many roles in acting since 2017, including the dramas, telefilms, films, for example, like Red Velvet, in 2017, Aku Cinta Dia in 2018, Sweet Dreams in 2019 last year, Kau Yang Pertama last year as well, 30 Hari Membunuh Cinta, that was the previous year, and Rayu Kulupo, which is last year. So she has been very active in films and such, and also active in theatre, and that's back in 2010 if I'm not mistaken. She's also, and I know this topic is about body shaming, and for your information, Miss Nas Saleh is also a survivor from body shaming and has openly spoken about body shaming awarenesses in all her social medias and interviews. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Miss Nas. Miss Nas, hello.
Hello.
Hi, Miss Nas.
Thank you for having me. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih. So, all right, I know you guys are being excited. So without further ado, let's start our virtual talks. Let's stop body shaming. Every size and color is beautiful. So how we're going to go about the virtual talk for today is we're going to go with the flow of, I'll be asking questions to Professor, and then to Miss Liana, and then Miss Nas. So I'll go one by one accordingly, and then we'll go as we go on with the time, okay? All right. So the first question will be to Professor Dr. Muhammad Najib. So, as we know, this is a very big topic, and some might say it's controversial, right? So, as we know, Professor, you've been working as a psychiatrist for many years. So, in your opinion, what is the body shaming, and how does the term comes to exist? Please, sir.
Yes, first of all, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good afternoon to everyone. Thanks for the organizers for inviting me, Mr. Rizzo there somewhere. All right, and I'm pleased to meet all of you. Yeah, let's go straight to the point. This is a big topic, and yet I think very interesting in the sense that it has a lot of effects on people who basically been victims of it. Yeah. Body shaming is actually a relatively new term. I suppose 3 decades, 4 decades ago, nobody would be talking about body shaming. According to Oxford English Dictionary, yeah, body shaming is the act or practice of humiliating a person based on their body type by making critical or mocking statements about their body shape and size. So it's basically negative comments about the body. Yeah. Now, the thing is like this. Actually, when we look at the literature, this body shaming can come in 3 forms. Yeah. Number one is, it's quite personal really, when you criticize your own appearance. Yeah. When you compare yourself with other people. So statements like, I'm so ugly, look how broad are my shoulders, I have a big nose, things like that sometimes can occur as well. And because of this, the person will feel bad about themselves and have low self-esteem and so forth. That's the first one. The second one is when someone else criticizes someone's appearance in front of them. Yeah, so said straight to the person, look, you have big thighs or whatever, and your appearance like this, you're never going to get a date. Nobody will like you. Nobody will date you, stuff like that. So that is the second situation, which I think is probably the commonest, that most often heard. And the third one is when you probably criticize someone's appearance, but not necessarily in front of them. Like you gossip with another person. Did you see what she's wearing today? Not flattering at all, stuff like that. And, at least do not look like her, those kind of judgments. So, but whatever it is, no matter how it manifests, it often leads to some kind of comparison and shame. And it perpetuates the idea that people should be judged mainly for their physical features. Again, if I were to go back to those 3 kinds, it's either you yourself, body shaming yourself, or other people are doing it on you. Sometimes without you even knowing that it is happening. So this has become more expanded or becomes a big thing when we have social media, of course. And of course, the gist of it is about your weight, either someone being overweight or underweight, with all the images in the social media about what is accepted by society as beautiful. So at least in this introduction, I leave it at that. But before I stop, I would say that, just very briefly, how big is this problem now? Studies have been done around the world, and I like to quote 1 or 2 studies that I'm aware of. For instance, 33% of girls, this is probably teenage to young adults, and 25% of boys reported weight-based teasing from peers. Yeah, and of course, this is more prevalent among overweight people. Yeah, and 84% of students observe other students perceived as overweight being called names or getting teased during physical activities. So this is a major thing, and certainly it affects a lot of people, especially in the younger age group. Thank you, Imran, for now.
Thank you, Professor. Actually, I've noticed that there, as the definition that you've mentioned, there's 3 forms where they compare themselves, they compare about others like gossiping, and then in a broader sense of more social media or society believes there is. And then with the statistics that you have mentioned, that's actually very alarming, isn't it, Professor? With
Yeah.
53% within women and 25%. So stereotypes there. You guys don't think guys are not being judged, okay? There's 25% there, okay? And so, apart from that, thank you, Professor, for that brief introduction. So, I would like to go to Miss Liana. If you want to add on, if there's anything you'd like to add on that, it's also acceptable. But we would also like to know on, can you elaborate a little bit more about what MIASA do and what it is actually? Thank you.
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Miss Liana.
Okay, thank you for the question. Definitely. MIASA stands for the Mental Illness Awareness and Support Association, and we are a mental health advocacy and peer support NGO based in Selangor. Now, MIASA was founded in September of 2017 and is registered under the ROS. MIASA was honestly formed for every person who wakes up in the morning and continues to brave their conditions. For every carer that continues to support us despite not fully understanding their loved one's mental health conditions. For all of the mental health professionals, like Professor, who continue to help and strive to make that difference in mental health care. And for every person out there that continues to help people like us. The objective of MIASA is to promote awareness on the importance of mental health, to address and clarify misconceptions on mental health campaigns and conditions, while simultaneously providing support for peers and caregivers through its various programs and support initiatives. Being peer initiated, MIASA has a very, very strong purpose and foundation. MIASA's importance lies in our offering of a holistic solution towards treatment, which integrates not only approaches from the medical perspective, but also from the spiritual components, which highlight the critical importance of the recovery model focusing on empowerment, autonomy, and a human rights-based approach. Our vision is to be the leading voice in mental health education in support of mental health peers, inshallah. And we strive to promote awareness on the importance of having good mental healthiness, raising awareness on mental health issues, providing support for mental health peers and carers, improving the mental health literacy in Malaysia, and supporting other bodies in all areas in promoting mental health. We have conducted many campaigns in line with this goal of advocacy, such as the hashtag MIASA Reach Out campaign 2018, the hashtag Be the Change campaign, our suicide prevention campaign, the hashtag What We Need campaign, the hashtag MIASA Stay Connected campaign, and our World Health Day campaign, and so forth. Yes, that is MIASA in a nutshell, I believe.
Thank you, Miss Liana. That's actually a very quick introduction of what MIASA actually does. And actually, I really like the fact that apart from helping victims of, or let's just call them,
Peers. We call them
peers, right? Peers who are very concerned about their health, right? Apart like doctors aid in physical injuries. So of course, doctors such as Professor Najib and also NGOs that assist in mental health assist in different kind of injuries. So, and I like the fact that not only that you help these peers, that you also educate the non-peers. Basically, the increased awareness of the mental health literacy, right? So I really like that fact, because there's a lot of misconceptions out there about mental health and all the stereotypes, and we can go a bit deeper there later on. So thank you very much, Miss Liana. So now I would like to go to none other than Miss Nas. Miss Nas, are you ready?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, Miss Nas.
Nervous kita.
Hey,
Okay.
no, don't be nervous, Miss. Let's go. All right.
Alright.
So, okay, I know this is it might trigger or not trigger some of bad memories or such. But can you share with
Yeah.
us a brief about your experience about body shaming, like how it happened or what happened, if possible. If you do not wish to, I'm okay. We're okay.
Can. Okay. Okay. Assalamualaikum, everybody. Okay. My experience about body shaming came when my late 20s, because I started in this line very young age. So yes. So when I go into this line, I started as a dancer, a tunas budaya kid dancer. And then when I go through on my late 20s, so my hormone changed as a woman. Okay. So I had experience where when I have to do some my performance, which is in dance and acting, on stage, I had problem with costumes. So the especially the people who conduct the costumes, they will like take it me as a trouble for them to find costume, a suitable costume for me, a suitable appearance for me. So at that time, I felt left out, and then I felt macam katalah it's mentally abused a bit. So I've down, and then I always blame myself why I'm like this. You know, everybody, my cliques, they all like dancer in your body and whatsoever. So as I go older, as I when I studied in University Malaya, I took dance diploma. I took acting, and with my degree, I took dance in University Malaya. So at that time, I was more focusing on writing on my thesis and so on. So when I finished my studies, I'm more active on stage. So at that time, one of my experience in stage performing, I had the lead watak, you know, but I have to be changed to other celebrity or other person because of my body. So that one really pushed me and really kalau kata sakit lah. But I took that as a positive side. Yeah, I start go to the gym. I say it's okay. I have to accept myself. I am beautiful in my way. I have my talent. People will see my talent, not my body on stage. So at the same time, for my health, I improve myself. I eat healthy food. I go to the gym every single day in between my shows. Then, Alhamdulillah, I prove it, and I stick with my character until for last for 3 years, 3 years on stage. So, Alhamdulillah, I took that as a big challenge in my life. Yeah, but until now, yeah, that is my one of my experience lah, yang really pushed me, you know.
Ooh, thank you, Miss Nasa. Actually, a very, uh, very
Emotions.
emotional.
Yeah,
I
yeah, emotional.
trying to think back how you felt at that time, and I'm sure
Yeah.
it was very. I think I could one in a way, you know, reciprocate what you felt one day, because when I was if my friends see me now, they wouldn't believe how I look right now, because back in the day I used to be short, I used to be bald, and then people like. Back in the day, I think you should know this. There's a show called Chaplos. Oh, they say, hey, Chaplos. So, botak, pendek. It was like, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, both
And I used to be the
pendek.
clown. And I used to be the clown. So I just, accept lah whatever they say. Like, laugh it off.
Because we are special. So we are special. Always kita yang akan jadi clown tu. So,
Yes.
you know.
But yeah lah, kan, c'est la vie. So now, Professor, you look like you're ready to answer again, sir. Yeah. So we know in a more definition, broad sense, about the definition and where the term comes from. Is there any, like, for example, I'm just a regular guy just eating at the cafeteria, and then I'm not so sure this guy is, if he's comfortable or not comfortable. How can I know if there's any symptoms, of victims of body shaming? Some people take it very, very good. Some people actually, I know it's not a good excuse for us to, body shame anyone, but is there any symptoms that we can look out for?
Yeah, body shaming is not actually a diagnosis, if you like, but it's a condition, right? So when someone has it, it can present in many ways. Yeah? But it all boils down to the fact that it's something to do with negative sense of your body image. Yeah, and because of that, people with who face body shaming normally would remain to have low self-esteem, and sometimes they have negative mood swings, and they sometimes quite preoccupied with the ideal body image. They want to become someone they are not. And as a result, actually, many people who are victims of body shaming will end up into several conditions. Like if it's serious enough, they may present with first of all, I think quite common is social anxiety. That means they fear to be in public, they fear to be exposed to others, just in case people might criticize them, and they'll become a loner, basically. Yeah, and sometimes people do present with depression because of the low self-esteem. They have a low self-image, low self-worth, and they feel that nobody likes them because of their problem. Yeah, and quite a number of them, of course, would end up having eating disorders of various kinds, because this is mainly about body weight issue. Yeah, and the commonest one, I'm sure all of us are aware of, would be something called anorexia nervosa, where they refuse to eat. Yeah, but the fear of, well, they feel that they're overweight, their body shape is out of place and whatnot, they don't eat. This can have disastrous effect on the body, actually. Yeah? Even medically, they can have so many problems later on. Many of them ended up in medical ward. Yeah? And the other one is bulimia, where there's a tussle between taking care of their body weight and wanting to eat and whatnot. So they end up purging or vomiting and all those things. And the problem with that is sometimes they, despite all the effort, there's nothing much changing, because they come with binge eating in bulimia. So they eat a lot and they purge and eat a lot, purge, and ended up they become more and more frustrated. So all this actually, if it affects someone, would cause a lot of problem. For a young person, this may affect their studies, their relationship with other people, and if not treated or not controlled properly, it would end up like sometimes when depression is very severe. I've heard cases where people even resort to suicide. So this is a very serious matter, actually, if it's not controlled properly.
Yeah, Ross. I see. So I can see there's like a not trend. I think there's there's a how to say a look, or how to say a trend. I don't say trend. I think whereby we can see specific things that people aim at, or they particularly, I would say, society look at it as a very not a good thing. And I think like seeing as how it's actually very detrimental, and how it is not a good thing, and we should all do something about it. And I think this is actually what you're saying is actually proves how important this virtual talk is actually. Thank you, Professor. So I would like to ask Miss Liana. Miss Liana, so just now Professor has mentioned something about he have seen cases and such. So I would like to ask, in the in your opinion, in your experience, based on your experience, can you if you can share us a bit of your experience working in Miasa, and particularly handling issues on body shaming?
Yes, I can. I actually have, similar to Miss Na's story earlier, I've also had personal experiences with body shaming. Um, so this is actually quite a long story, but I'll do my best to like summarize it to fit into my allotted time. I've been both body shamed in Malaysia and overseas, I believe, in the weirdest of ways. Back when I had returned to Malaysia from the USA, I was body shamed for the weight I had gained due to the stress in having to adapt to a completely new culture and social environment. The US is very different from Malaysia, as you guys can tell.
True, that's
Then
very true.
yeah. Then afterwards, once I had gone to the gym, lost a lot of weight, and actually became underweight according to my BMI, I was still body shamed for not conforming to the norm. How that happened was I used to be in the entertainment industry overseas. And I guess they had set a standard of how artists should look like or appear as. Being slightly more curvy, as Ms. Nas mentioned earlier, than the norm, I was mainly body shamed in variously subtle ways. From how they'd comment on how I'd look 10 pounds heavier due to the camera, to how they'd coordinate my clothing for the shootings that we do. While seemingly slight, these comments and the judgments I'd receive from the fans, or maybe like anti fans, soon created a toll on my mental health. which resulted in my developing very unhealthy eating habits and anxiety, like Professor mentioned earlier. Um, I remember I'd be anxious whenever we'd have a shoot, or I'd always watch out for cameras, so I would position myself accordingly, or like neutralize my facial expressions. I was paranoid, stressed, and anxious whenever we had to leave our dorms, or whenever there was like a large crowd of people. Um, Body shaming honestly took a toll on my mental healthiness, my happiness, my self esteem, and my self acceptance. And this continued until it reached a breaking point whereby I was hospitalized for seriously overworking and undereating. But at the time, I had kind of thought it was normal. I normalized it, as a lot of other artists were also going through the same experiences I was. So I internalized it as normal. But it's very clear to see that this lifestyle cycle definitely isn't healthy at all. Now, there's a lot of aspects tied into body shaming. As Professor mentioned earlier, it's not just the verbal elements involved. There's also the physical elements such as bullying, the psychosocial elements such as social isolation, and the internal elements such as self blaming, a loss of confidence, and an underdeveloped self esteem. Now, this influences everything from the way we think, to the way we interact with others, to the way we perform in our personal and professional lives. This affects the relationship we develop with others and the trust we have in ourselves to fulfill our full potential. And that's why it's so important to understand the consequences of body shaming and what they could have, the impacts that they could have on the individual. Yes.
Thank you, Miss Lena. So actually, so even you have some share, of trouble on
Definitely.
body shaming, and not only here but also abroad.
Overseas, definitely.
And one lesson you can take, when you're overweight, people talk about you, and then when you work out, you're underweight, people still talk about you. So we can't please
You can't
everyone.
win.
You
You
can't
can't
win.
win.
You can't win with society. You just have to love yourself, right?
Exactly.
So thank you, Miss Lena. So I would like to go back to Miss Nas. Miss Nas, hello. All right. So Miss Nas,
Uh,
so tadi Miss Nas pun dah cerita sedikit pasal apa, how macam you after all these things Miss Nas pergi
yeah,
gym,
experience.
makan, eat healthy kan. Anything else lah yang Miss Nas yang macam motivate Miss Nas, further how to based on your experience lah kan, motivates you to become better, atau ada negative thought, what else you do, macam daily thing ke, weekly thing ke, monthly thing ke, anything lah yang boleh, uh,
Yeah.
push lagi.
Okay. Besides all the normal yang kita akan buat, yang selalu yang kena bully, yang selalu kena body shaming, and some more in my line, I have to always look good. I have to, like Liana said just now, conscious about the camera angle and whatsoever. But at one point, I realized that you have to stop this. You have to stop overthinking. You have to stop torturing yourself, your mind. The most important thing is, kalau I want to compete with others or other actors, I cannot. So as I had a support from family, from my directors and my colleagues, they said that you are special. You cannot compete yourself with other beautiful actors out there, slim and cantik, but you have your own beautiful, your own way. Make it your body, your body, plus size body, as that's your beautiful. Itu adalah you. You are unique. So I do, and I think about it. That yeah, why I have to go? I have to go all through this. I have to stress out myself. I have to starve myself. I cannot eat. People are break time. They eat lunch. They eat all the food. I have to just like eat my sandwich, eat my salad. So I didn't. I cannot. As long as I'm healthy, as long as I can do my work, mencari rezeki, I'll be fine. So I take it as that way. That's why I said, being plus size actress in my life, you have to be confident. You have to have beautiful mind. You have to see beautiful in others. That will make you feel you are beautiful and you are special. So I always put myself there. If I selalu gandingkan dengan Syahaya because she's very tall, she's pretty, dengan Lofa, dengan Mira Fiza, my partner selalunya yang opposite daripada I. So I cannot take it as a negative way. I have to take it as positive way. So I have to believe in myself that I am beautiful in my way, and I have my talent. People will see my talent, not my body, not my skin, my dark skin, not my face or whatsoever. My talent. So I just believe in that, and Alhamdulillah, a great support that yeah, just be confident, be yourself. That is the most important to me.
Thank you, Miss Nas. A bit at the back there, you were a bit lagging as well, the internet, but it's okay. I think we got your general message.
Okay,
Thank
sorry.
you. It's okay. So, actually, I like how your advice actually comes along with your experience, right? So it's more, if you can do it, so can we, right? Actually, thank you very much on that in terms of advice and such. We would also like to hear from a professional, for example, Professor Najib. Is there any kind of action as maybe you can explain to us as what a professional would do, and maybe as a peers, can do to severe victims? What are the ways to treat them and such? You're still muted, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, we're back. All right. Yeah. Well, very interesting question because first and foremost, like even at the very beginning, at the outset, I said body shaming is not just one. Yeah. So I think what we do, if we were to help them, would have to be individualized based on what is bothering them and the root cause of the problems. Yeah. But something general that I think I would do if someone comes to see me saying that they are a victim of body shaming, what can they do? First and foremost would be, try to understand that there's certain things that you will have control over yourself that no one else can control. Try to stay true to who you are. Yeah, you are the person. God created you, and whatever happens around you, you are the person that you have to respect most. Number one. Yeah, similar to what Nas was telling us now. We are all beautiful in our own ways, right? And secondly, I would advise that for them not to change their appearance just because someone else asked them to, or someone else think your nose is slightly big or your tummy is slightly off. There's no point doing that because all these things are not real, because even someone whose usual habits are eating a bit too much, they tend to put on weight. They go for whatever surgery. If they continue the same lifestyle, they might get back all the kilos or the pounds that get discarded, for instance. So instead of doing all those measures just to please others, think about what is right now. Imagine, forget about being overweight or whatnot. Leading a healthy lifestyle is true. It is important. It's irrespective of your original body size. You could be slightly overweight, but if you eat healthily, exercise regularly, you could be a very healthy person. Focus on those issues. Similarly, if you're extremely thin, still you need to exercise, you eat sparingly, you socialize well with others, and that is what matters in the end. Those are very important issues here. And if you're feeling upset for whatever reason, it's best not to keep to yourself. Talk to someone, get some emotional support. I'm sure your best friend will understand. After all, you become best friends because you understand certain common things. Those are the right people to talk to. And of course, when it comes a bit too much, even your friend or your family members cannot help you with the support. It's time probably to go to seek professional help. But most importantly, we need to stay strong. Now, what do I do at the clinic? I think, first and foremost, if someone who has a similar problem comes to see us, of course, we do a full assessment to find out the issues around it, and also to see to what extent it has affected the person's life. And based on that, sometimes we may pick up specific diagnosis, like I mentioned earlier, depression, anxiety, or eating disorder, or all those sorts, or if they have suicidal ideation, we need to manage all that according to the presentation. Yeah, sometimes it may involve give you a little bit of antidepressants for some period of time because that may help sometimes. Yeah, or if someone has very well in-depth problem regarding this, maybe it's just mere casual talking won't be enough. You may even have to undergo some kind of formalized psychotherapy. Although most of the time, I would say, in my experience, a little bit of discussion around it about what body shaming means to you and how it's affected you would be sufficient, perhaps. Yeah. So the general strategy will be, again, like I would like to repeat, even if you worry about the body, try to be realistic. Find out what the issue is. Is it about pleasing others, pleasing yourself, or is it health issue? And then take comfort in that you should be comfortable with whatever you have. Nothing you can do can reach the other persons that your idol that you're thinking of copying about. Yeah. Second, if that involves bodily harms, sometimes people are so frustrated with the body weight, body size, they do self-harm as a means to relieve themselves. They cut themselves and whatnot. Those things I think needs to be corrected because they should be taught or guided to find better ways to cope with all these stresses. Yeah, and sometimes in certain conditions like eating disorders, we may hold group therapy where people with similar problems can share how they manage the situation. I think the Miasa may have some kind of group of that kind. Yeah. And finally, I suppose the aim should be, irrespective what is the final weight that people is having, they need to be comfortable with who they are and continue to be so. And the people around them should also be sort of persuaded, the family members, especially close friends, to give full support and regard them or love them unconditionally. That is extremely important, I think. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Prof. So you've mentioned quite a lot actually Heka, about the severity of the victims, the impact that has happened to them if they have not, taken care of each other and such. So what I can summarize for everyone who's watching this. So if if your circle can't help you, I think you should, think about not only about yourself. You need to think about, who you're surrounding yourself with lah. A good environment becomes, a better you. So if a bad environment becomes a worse you. So I think you should look into of who you are hanging out around with. If they cannot help you, how it's very hard for you to improve yourself. So that's one thing you can take off from that, apart from all the other advices that professor have mentioned. So there's now a good question, a good comeback from Prof about Miss Liana. So Miss Liana, as a student, what should I do? What should I do to support and help body shaming victims, and and help Miasa actually? So how can we do that?
Okay. Body shaming could lead to severe insecurities to the victims, like Professor and Ms. Nas mentioned earlier, which could result in the development of social anxiety and a lot of other conditions. Body shaming could also lead to conditions such as eating disorders and depressions and all of these things. As a student and friend, you need to first and foremost become compassionate and empathetic towards those who experience body shaming. Think before you speak and be aware of the impact your words would have on others. In order to help body shaming victims, you first need to educate yourself. Be with them, support them, and validate their experiences. If you can't be there with them physically, it's honestly okay. You could just show them that you're there for them with your never ending support. Besides comforting them with words, motivate them to join you in doing something nice to boost your spirits. Help them by elevating their self esteem. You may encourage them to exercise, as exercise is good for both mental and physical health. Tell them that it is important to stay fit and healthy, but that it takes time, and only the progress matters. The end goal does not. Ensure that they do not stress themselves out by trying to fit into the molds of other people's standards defined by unrealistic parameters. Alternately, you could share Miasa's infographics online or post on Instagram and Facebook so that it could reach a lot of other people. You could also be one of our volunteers and help us champion the cause and advocate for mental health awareness. By joining Miasa as a volunteer, you will gain more experience, you will associate with various kinds of people, you would also build more connections and have a stronger support system whenever you need. The normalization of mental health conditions will occur when more people openly discuss their mental health conditions and just mental health in general. To sum it up, as a student and friend, and to help Miasa, just be kind, be compassionate, and always try to help those in need. It is okay to not be able to help them physically or financially. Just be there for them, for those around you. I think that's what's most important.
Thank you, Miss Lena. You've mentioned, be kind, be compassionate, and you also mentioned something that we can volunteer to Miasa
Yes.
in certain events or such campaigns or something like that.
Well, you could also join Miasa as a general volunteer, which means
Mm,
for our volunteers section, we have three groups, which is the research and development section, we have the crisis support section, and we have general volunteers, which means helping out with campaigns and other things associated to our initiatives and our work. If you guys would like to register as volunteers, you could do it online through Miasa's webpage or website. And once you go online to the website, there will be how to join tab. So just click on that tab and register yourself as a volunteer, and we will get back to you shortly.
I
Yes.
see. Thank you, Miss. Because why I'm asking, correct me if I'm wrong about
Mm-hmm.
this. This is just my opinion. I think, like you said about volunteering, I think that's actually one of the good ways. So that, for example, if I am a victim of body shaming,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't like that feeling, and
Of
I done
course.
anything I could and I can't. So maybe if I help others in other victims of body shaming, maybe I too can learn how to be. If I can be kind to others, maybe I can learn to be kind to myself. Or am I just
Exactly.
wrong? That's
No,
just my
that's right.
opinion.
That's right. Actually, research has shown that when you volunteer, when you help others, it's a form of healing for yourself also. There's actually a normal misconception that people have that if you're so busy with your own problems, if you can't help yourself, then you can't help others. But it's actually research has shown the opposite to be true. So when you help others, when you selflessly give to others, it actually helps you yourself a lot.
I see. That so it resonates with me a bit on that. So thank you, Miss Lena. So
You're
now
welcome.
I would like to jump to Miss Nas. Miss Nas, all right. So being an actress, being a dancer that you mentioned before.
Yeah.
So I believe that you face many backlashes. Orang kata haters kena tibai kiri kanan
Yeah.
kan Miss Nas. Aduh.
People calling me names. Yeah.
Hi, then. So how do you, because we, okay, now, right, just now we were asking in terms of being a student, being, a victim, such, volunteering. So what happens if, people out there, public figures,
Yeah.
influencers, company corporates, such people with, they have to take care of their names in terms of public, right? So being an actress
Yeah.
yourself, so I believe that you have faced many of these haters and such. How do you defend yourself in public? So it can be in terms of public body shaming or in any terms that you like to treat the skit.
Okay. Okay. For me, as a celebrity, okay, because we are very open on our social media. Also, we go out. People, I have experience. Okay. If I go out, there's a macam auntie, kakak-kakak kat luar tu macam, oh, dekat luar kecil, dekat TV nampak besar. Taklah ni, tapi pendek kecil je. Oh, gelap. I always get that, macam, oh, okay lah, taklah besar sangat. Macam tu. And also, there's people were close to me, like calling me macam mok ke, buntat ke, uh, some of them, I'm okay with it because I know them, we have that bonding, kan? But if people out there, like suddenly you don't know me, calling me names, it hurts me. But I nak buat apa kan? You know, I choose in this line. So I have to face it. Benda tu adalah cabaran untuk I, for me to let it to telan, let myself heal, and I just have to take it as a positive way. If I take it as a negative way, I will be very down. I'm very conscious on my appearance. When I go out, I need to, you know, put myself a big smile, you know. Uh, so yeah, it's hard. It's a double work for me because people know me out there and people know me on social media. So yeah, I always get DMs like, tak cantik lah ni, makeup you ni, you know, so many things. So I have to put it to the side and always, this is what I say, always remember that I am beautiful. It's okay. People calling me names. It's okay, but take it as a challenge, you know, take it as a challenge for you to push yourself and be you, not macam Prof cakap tadi, don't be like macam orang lain. You want to compete, you know, you have to dress up, not you, not being you, because that won't work. You have to be you. Yeah, itu je lah.
Thank you, Miss Nas. Macam like Miss
I
Nas
hope I
mentioned.
answered the question.
Yes, you did actually. So as Miss Nas has mentioned about apa, just now apa, actually it was your previous question. You mentioned about some the directors and such, you know, producers and such.
Yeah.
Mentioned that you cannot compete with other, you know, because you yourself, you're in your own category, and so I think that's actually a very good, you know, thing to remember. You know, we are all special in our own ways, and
We are all special. We are beautiful.
true. I believe in that very sense of word. And so I would like to ask Prof. Right, Prof. So what are, you know, because this situation has become actually increasingly increasingly you know, trending nowadays with body. Why? Because actually just mentioned by Miss Liana and Miss Nas and also Prof that social media actually plays a role in all of this, and especially now with MCO, everything we're not saying physically, so we don't, you know, we don't go down to the mall, kita tak jumpa mall macam, hey, gemuk, we don't do that anymore. Maybe some. So now everything is on social media. So I see some of my friends are now posting a lot more, and some actually just disappear. So, what are, you know? Can you share with us, you know, some words of encouragement, you know, advices that we can, you know, that you want to impart to the audiences?
Okay. Just before that, Imran, I'd like to. There's one issue that we haven't actually addressed here, which is, you heard Nas' experience and Liana's experience as well, even overseas. You know, one thing that we haven't addressed actually is, you know, think about it. Why do people body shame? You know, like just now, the example that Nas just given. She was walking outside and somebody says these comments, this or how you acted. You know, and why do they do that? I think this is one of the things, before I go to the last words, whatever, that we need to try to understand as well. You know, there are different reasons, of course. I don't think there's only one answer to it. But one very important point is, I think that's probably the easiest way for us to resolve conflicts. You know, let me elaborate on that. You know, sometimes if we have a problem, say with someone, with a colleague, you know, say many of you are students here, you know, in your class or something, you know, sometimes the conflict is very difficult to resolve. You know, very difficult to resolve. The easiest way is to let go, you know, vent out your anger or your frustration is to go for, you know, name calling or, you know, whatever, body shaming, saying that you're ugly, you're never a good person, you're poor, you're this and that. All those things is our way to communicate our displeasure to that person. Yeah. So the problem is like this. I think why you asked just now, why it's been so widespread, you know, because that is probably now, especially with social media, mentioning about social media, that's probably the easiest way for us to sort of annoy that person. You know, the easiest way to get back to that person is to hentam where it really hurts. You know, if that person is slightly overweight and then you hate what he or she did, you're fat, you're this and that. So that will immediately have an impact on that person. So as we go along, we start to learn, this is probably an effective way to attack that person. If you don't like them, this is what you do. So before you know it, it becomes an effective way to communicate. That is where it all went wrong, probably. One of the reasons, which is very important. So I think, when we want to address this issue of body shaming and whatnot, we as a member of society would have to sort of try to learn how to communicate our issues better. Like if you don't like that person because of what they say, go and deal with that issue that you're not satisfied with, rather than going, take an easy way out, just body shame and leave it at that. And whereas the main issue is not being resolved. So talking about kata-kata semangat, encouragement and whatnot, maybe at this point I would say, body shaming is really a destructive culture. And has been around actually forever. You talk to our parents, and we have some kind of a similar issue, despite no social media in the past. There's still some element of that. Gemuk lah, kecil lah, panjang lah, pendek lah, whatever. It's never the right way to be as a person. And has so many negative impacts on relationships and to the person affected. Yeah, and it's very cruel indeed. So I think as a family member, if you want to sort of try to help someone who's been body shamed, we just show them, like I said earlier, show them that you love them unconditionally, whatever happens. So whatever people say, you're still the family member who loves them. Yeah, and if you have experienced it yourself, I'm sure, like according to statistics, even boys, a quarter of boys would have had it. Yeah, I know I had it as well in different ways when I was a lot younger. Right, and learn to be proud of yourself. You are great in your own ways, and stick to that, because despite your limitation, there are certain things you are better than other person. Yeah, if not good in academic, you're good in something else, repairing things, for instance. So everybody is great at some point. Yeah, and focus on the functions of your body rather than the shape. Bersyukur that you still have your hand, even your stomach has function, your legs have function, irrespective of the size. Focus on that. And bersyukur that Allah give you still all that, compared to someone who doesn't have a leg, doesn't have a body. I mean, the tummy too, even if slightly bulkier and whatnot, still you have that functioning well. Yeah, what matters most is you should be happy with who you are. And well, after all, last, nothing remains forever. Even the most beautiful person, the most sado person, at some point in this world, they will grow old, they will grow weak, and even die off. So what is there to be worried about? And that's why I think we come back. God created us for a reason on this world, and be happy with that. And I think that's the best way to tackle all this body shame. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. So that was actually very inspiring, especially kembalilah pada dia, kan? That's one of the things that we actually we have to apart from parenting, about self-love, about ourselves, our environment. And actually I take a serious point where you have mentioned about that people think that this body shaming or this complaint, just hating on someone is as an effective communication. Just because it works. People for example, let's say the person is a bit slightly overweight, and we would like to just say, hey, maybe you can go to the gym or something, right? But it does not work. So he or she thinks that saying that person in public, hey, fat, so suddenly and then just because that person goes to gym the next day does not mean it's, hey, I should do this more often. So I think I take that as a very serious notion where society thinks it's a very fact. I believe that something that we have to fix, something that we all as a collective, maybe start with ourselves and not do this thing again, I think, right? So now I will jump off to Miss Liana. So apart from words encouragement, right? So maybe you can impart us more knowledges. And I think I've read you were mastering arts of Islamic studies. So maybe you can, if you want to slightly put in there, I don't know. So please, Miss Liana, the floor is yours.
As we've all established earlier, body shaming is a type of bullying. Both body shamers, the person who bullies others, and the victims honestly need to be paid attention to. Both parties need help. It's not just one or the other. While victims obviously need that support, the body shamers usually need the support too. Miyasa has done various talks in regards to the bullying phenomena and what steps should be taken in order to help both the victims and their bullies. As we all know, bullying, and in this context, body shaming, could have severe long term impacts on the victim's mental well being. If you can, try to confront and speak up to the body shamers. But if you cannot, just help them by being there for the victims. Be their best listeners, lend your ears and your shoulders so that they know that they are not alone and that they have someone to turn to when things get rough. If you have the courage to speak out, help them by speaking out on their behalf. Stop the body shamers if you can. You could also make a difference by sharing information online about body shaming and its effects and impacts on social media so that the people around you could at least understand more about body shaming and its associated mental health impacts. Um, I guess what I'm trying to say is that we have to realize that if you internalize body shaming, it'll never end because the society's standards of beauty are very fluid and constantly evolving over time. Looking at it from this perspective, we have to realize that these comments and the actions of body shaming are all external, outside of ourselves, and prospectively irrelevant, as they are just the opinions of others which do not and should not matter to us. Slowly try distancing yourself from caring about these irrelevant opinions and instead surround yourself with positivity and self love, like Ms. Nas said earlier. Love yourself, compliment yourself, be kind to yourself. No matter how you look, how you are, how your body is, what you think you look like, if you wish to take action and to do something about your body, please do it for the right reasons, such as to become healthier, fitter, for self love or confidence, for your personal pleasure, and so forth. Don't make changes for others because at the end of the day, you are what matters most. And you asked me to implement aspects of like from the Islamic perspective. I guess in Islam, we are taught to be grateful. I think that is the most important thing. Like Professor mentioned earlier, gratitude is honestly the key to happiness. Because when you are grateful, it changes your whole perspective on how you live. It won't allow other people's opinions to influence you, to impact you, because you know that your self worth is there because Allah has created all of us beautiful. You know, we cannot change because He has created us, we are His creations. And everything He has created has their purposes and has their beauty in of itself. And when you're grateful, because like Professor said earlier, we might have a slightly bigger tummy or slightly broad shoulders or whatever you have, you're functioning, you're alive, you can breathe, you can walk, you can go around, explore the world, you can feel, you know? All of these are things to be grateful for because a lot of people don't have that. And we should, instead of looking upwards to what we want to be, we should look downwards into what we already have that people wish they had. So that's a way of managing ourselves. That's a way of pujuk diri. I think not pujuk diri, but a way of comforting ourselves in the sense that we are often very much swayed and influenced by what others think of us, by what the society says we should look like or be like or act like. When in fact, you are already beautiful, you just haven't realized it. You just haven't seen it. You are already perfect. You know, there is no need for external validation when you can have internal validation. Yes.
Thank you, Miss Lena. So, and thank you for indulging on my part question. So I think it's very reassuring to know that there are people out there, for example NGOs, for example like Miasa, and there's several others that actually helps in catering and helping peers with concerns such as this. So I'm very thankful and grateful for such efforts and initiatives done by Miasa and Miss Lana and others actually. So thank you for that. And especially in terms of, like you mentioned, internalizing all those words from others is not healthy, right? So we should learn to love ourselves and such. And like you mentioned, like sub part of the question is being grateful. And yeah, instead of looking upwards, you look downwards. I really like that. So last but not least, we like to go back to Miss Nas and Miss Nas. So as a public figure, actually your very presence here and kehadiranmu dalam web
Allah.
virtual ni dah cukup
I
inspiring dah.
learn a lot. I learn a lot. And
Ah,
yeah.
so maybe is there of course from every questions so much inspiration has been mentioned kan, motivation. So is there anything
Yes.
last bit part of motivation that Miss Nas nak lontar kepada kita?
Okay, but as what Professor cakap tadi and Miss Diana cakap tadi, you have to be grateful lah. Grateful dengan setiap keistimewaan yang dicipta oleh untuk kita, you know, to accept yourself, accept what you have, and inshallah, I believe if every other people will say anything or body shaming will never end, you know. You will go through it. You will get through it. You will lepas macam tu je because one, you believe in yourself. You accept kelebihan dan kekurangan yang telah diciptakan untuk kita. And I believe you will achieve in whatever line you go, whatever work you do. Inshallah, you just believe, uh, uh, be thankful, grateful. Inshallah, I believe in that. Yeah. And be you. Be you. Just be you.
Be me.
Okay? No, be yourself.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Miss Nas, Professor and Miss Liana. So thank you so much for all our panels and our guests for today. So I believe that our audience would like to ask a few questions to our panels and guests. So we are open now for Q&A session. So to all our audience and all our participants, you can submit your questions through the live chat YouTube. And while we're waiting for the questions from YouTube Live, we'll open up the session for the participants inside the Google Meet first. All right. So all those from the YouTube, please put down your questions and we will read them aloud. So is there anyone from the Google Meet?
Yes, Mr. Imran, we do have participants in Google Meet.
All right. Sure, Miss.
All right, so Miss Yaya from Google Meet, could you please introduce yourself and what are the questions you would like to ask our panel?
Assalamualaikum and good afternoon. My name is Saya. I'm taking diploma in hospitality and tourism. So I want to ask this question to Miss Liana. So, okay, Miss, my question is how to deal with someone who body shame you in public?
So Miss Lena, that's a very direct question to you, Miss Lena. How do you, solve problems if people, body shame you in public? Please.
Well, it honestly depends on the situation and the context. For example, if they say it to your face or if they say it in front of others, and if you're alone. If you are alone, you can try confronting them, asking them why are you doing this, or I actually watched a podcast the other day which was about this actually. Bullies or people who tend to body shame, it's either one of two situations. One is that they don't realize what they're doing, so they might just be very straightforward and say what's on their mind without realizing the impacts that their words have on others. That could be one. Another is that they genuinely want you to know what, like they want to hurt you or they want to have an effect on you or impact on you. Now, usually bullies or people who want to hurt you by saying these things in public, they do it in public so that other people could take aware. So it would have a bigger impact on you than doing it per se in private. So what they're looking for is a reaction. They're looking for you to be triggered. They're looking for you to be hurt. Now, I am of the non-confrontational opinion, whereby I believe that just telling them that what they're doing is wrong and asking them to politely stop would be the best approach, because at the end of the day, they need to know that what they're doing is wrong, because honestly, they could not know. And at the same time, you won't be giving them the reaction that they're looking for. If they see that you're visibly hurt, if they see that you're visibly impacted, then they might think, okay, this is an effective way to hurt her or him. In the future, I will do it again because it is visibly effective, like Professor said earlier. And you learn from these kind of cues, you learn. So in the future, they would internalize this as effective and correspond accordingly to others. They would continue the cycle. Now, if you can respond in a way which shows that you are uninfluenced, it would have a reverse effect whereby they think, oh, this is not an effective form of communication. Maybe I shouldn't do this, or maybe I should just tell them directly, or tell them that I'm dissatisfied or that I need to vent my stress, you know? So sometimes people can body shame not because they have something against you, but they just want to release stress, and you just so happen to be the person that is there. So that's how they release their stressors or whatnot. There could be a lot of factors, which is why I think context matters a lot. Like in what context does it occur? Because every situation is a bit different.
That
I
would make
hope I answered the question.
so Miss Yaya, our from participant of Google Meet.
Mhm.
So I hope did she answer your question?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. So thank you, Miss Jana, for the question. But is if Professor Najib or Miss Nas has you like to answer that question as well, pun? By all
Uh,
means.
if I were to add, I think what Liana said was right. I mean, that's probably the best way. Yeah. Depending on the situation, if you think it's worth your while to sort of confront a bit mildly, not too much because we don't want to go into a quarrel. Yeah, you do that. I mean, they need to know that what they're doing is wrong. But I agree totally with Liana. Sometimes when people do this, remember I was talking just now that this has been a culture, like, when someone does that and the other person is affected, the people in the crowd sometimes can be influenced to sort of continue the thing, especially if you see that person is hurt and don't know why the other people who are observing also felt the slight pleasure and continued to check in. So maybe another way to do it, to deal with it, if you think you're so much affected, if you can, just walk away. That's one. Yeah. Number two, maybe say something like this. Well, I'm afraid I can't take what you say. I think you probably have a problem. I don't have a problem with you. So thank you so much, and slowly go off. I think when you do that, the person will feel like, oh my goodness, what have I done? Especially if they do not mean to do it, just because, I don't know, the situation makes them do it, because situations vary. Unless it is systematic, where some people, especially in the case of bullying, they do that all the time. That is a different issue. But sometimes we have a situation like that, and we can't let ourselves to be affected too deeply when the person may have done it spontaneously. So just tell them, you may have a problem, you misunderstood, whatever, and just walk away. Ensure that we're not that affected. Then they, to some extent, will shut down. I think that's my. The rest, I think, I agree with Liana.
Thank you, Prof. So, Miss Nas, you want to add on anything in terms of public ni kan? Tapi macam soalan tadi sikit, tapi if anything, Miss Nas?
Yeah, true. I agree with our whatever Prof cakap tadi and also Miss Liana. If you can't take it, you just smile and just walk away before it become any worse. Or if you really affected by the way or what they say to you can just go to them and talk nicely and say maybe, okay, sorry. May I ask why you say that? I don't think it's appropriate for you to say that to me. And I accept whatever you want to say, but it's not appropriate, and just give a positive smile and just walk away. Hope they will get affected by we being very positive about it. Because orang macam ni we cannot ajar dengan cara kasar because it will be sama je. You know, we have to psycho balik. Macam tu. That was apa benda yang I buat if I experience, you know. Yeah.
Cannot fight fire with fire,
Yeah.
kan?
No need. Waste of time.
True. So, MC Yasmin, is there any more questions from the Google Meet?
Yes, Mr. Imran, we do have question from our next participant, which is Mr. Ammar Aklan. Mr. Ammar, what would you like to ask our panel?
Hi, Assalamualaikum. Good afternoon.
Yes, Mr. Ammar, please.
My name is Ammar Aklan. I'm taking diploma in hospitality tourism management, and my question is for Professor. My question is, how does body shaming really affect our health in general?
Okay, thank you for the question, Ammar. Very interesting, isn't it? How does body shaming affect our health? Okay.
In general.
Actually, I don't regard body shaming as a totally separate thing psychologically that might affect you. Normally, I think because it's a threat, isn't it? A threat to your self-esteem, a threat to your well-being. So the most important effect is psychological. Yeah. So what it does is, your body now will perceive it as a threat. So your body will respond in form of anxiety. Your heart rate will increase. You start breathing rapidly sometimes, especially if you're affected emotionally, and you become angry and everything else. That sometimes will lead you can go forward and quarrel with that person and so on and so forth. But that is the short term. Now, if you ask me about the long term effect, that is slightly different, because if someone is exposed to this body shaming continuously, and they somehow, borrowing from our friends' statements, they now internalize all the attack that receive on them, that will lead to continuous stress. And stress itself can cause a lot of problems, in general. Apart from mental illness per se, depression, anxiety, eating disorder, and whatnot, your physical health also may be affected, because when you are exposed to so much stress, your immune system will drop, and you can feel unwell, physically and so forth. So there's a lot actually. So that is how detrimental. Although it starts off very simple thing, body shaming, but if it is not curbed, it may have some serious effect even to the body system. I hope I answered the question.
Thank you, Prof. So, Mr. Ammar, you're acceptable for the question? For the answer?
Thank you. Very clear. Thank you. Very clear.
Thank you, Mr. Ammar, for the question. So, MC Yasmin, is there any more questions for the Google Meet?
Yes, we do have.
Mm-hmm.
So the next question is coming from Miss Nurin. Miss Nurin.
Miss Nurin?
Are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Please, your question, and to whom?
Okay, so I would like to ask a question to Miss Naseli. So my question is, some of my friends comment negatively about my body as a joke in public. So should I take it as a serious matter in regarding what they are saying about my body, or should I just ignore it? Because although some of them are my close friends, but their words sometimes can be, a little bit hurtful. So how should I deal with it?
So, Miss Nas, so you've mentioned before that even your friends
call me buntad.
All those words, but now it's in public. So macam mana? Walaupun dia orang rapat, tapi sekarang public dia orang cakap. Macam mana?
Yeah, okay. At first, it will hurt because it's coming from your closest friend, and your closest friend or your family say it out loud in public, so people out there will hear whatever your closest friends or your family say to you. As you take it, firstly you have to take it. You have to take it and to see whether you can absorb. You can take it, and then when you go and ask your friend and put he or she to the side and say, I think it's not right for you to say out in public. Kalau kita kawan-kawan, I'm okay. This is for you, you know. If you keep it, you will get very toxic in your mind, and then it will not be the same as the feelings with your friends. It's not going to be the same. So you have to let it out in a nice way, and I'm surely your friend will understand, and maybe your friend tak sedar, you know, dah jadi kebiasaan, you know, kebiasaan kita kawan-kawan cakap kan. So say it nicely, and yeah, I'm sure everything's gonna be okay if you say it nicely without any emotion. Yeah, firstly you have to take it first, cool down, then you speak up. Yeah, I hope I answer your question.
Thank you, Miss Nas. For the question, and Miss Sharifah, Miss Nurin, you okay?
Yeah. Thank you for the useful advice, Miss. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. So
Welcome.
now our dear panels and our Professor, you have changed seats. I can finally see your beautiful smile, sir. All right. Okay. Okay. So now, so our dear panels, we already have questions coming out from the YouTube live. So specifically, this person has not mentioned to any of our panels, but so this question is from Lila Patricia. Her question is, how about body shaming among family members? Like if they criticize and comparing me just because I'm a bit chubby among my siblings. So I think so maybe I'll ask this question first too, because both are misses. So let me ask the father first. Let's ask a father what is his opinion on this question first. Please, sir.
Imran, I think you meant the pakcik or the orang tua, isn't it?
Hey, no, sir. Hey, that's I'm not judging you, sir.
Yeah, just give the example, spontaneous example, because the same thing. Sometimes in family, things can start off as a joke, you know, or sometimes initially as something cute. You know, I think Nas mentioned buntat lah, all those things. You know, I mean, growing up, I'm sure all of us have gone through that. One auntie comes in and you're the darkest in the family. How come you're a different family? Or are you actually from somewhere else? Your parents found you in a, whatever. All these things. It's common experience. But I think most importantly is how we take it actually. Yeah, because sometimes if we take it too seriously, we'll be affected a bit too much. You know, I've come across situations where, that makcik who come and visited after a long time, just trying to be cute or something and telling, but since then onwards, this girl would hate that particular auntie forever. So I think we have to take things in context. Now, within the, say, nuclear family, well, I'm sure you all have experienced this as well, everybody in the audience. Sometimes when you're angry with your brothers and sisters, you may start calling names or giving all these comments. So oftentimes they are temporary. And again, remember what I said is not about the most convenient way to communicate your anger, your displeasure, by calling whatever your hair is too long or too short, whatever, bald, whatever that they feel convenient, just to show off their anger. But those are hopefully when you're a bit younger, as a child. When you grow up, you become more mature. I hope all of us will evolve and start to have more mature ways to express yourself, to express your displeasure, and try to resolve problems. So, in other words, what I'm saying is, if you have already reached 30s, 40s, or 50s, as old as I am, you still use those as your means to resolve problems, you will have a big problem there. That's much I can say. Yeah. And if we're only adults and we're dealing with small children, we know we have gone through all that and how it may affect some boys and girls, some little boys, some little girls. So we need to refrain now. I think now with this issue becomes, more openly discussed with, I think, and people are probably, hopefully, more civilized, I would say. I hope we as a society would look into this slightly, seriously, because some children may be affected. I know, sorry, I'm dragging this a bit. I know the adolescent, the children that come to my clinic, quite a number of them, mentioned this, categorically mentioned this, how they felt that in the family they are the what, ugly duckling, is that the right phrase? They are the ones. Anything, they the scapegoat. If anything happens in the family, they are the ones who faltered. Brothers and sisters escape, but they always get it. So those are the issues. I think if it continues so much, it may affect the child, and that's the time when specialists, especially child psychiatrists, child psychologists, might have to come in to help sort of resolve some of the issues there. Other panelists may want to add as panelists.
Oh, thank you, Prof. So that's very insightful in terms of, as the father figure. Sir. So maybe is there any of the opinions from sibling, as a kakak or as a adik, yang mau bercerita, or even cousins if you want to, Miss Liana or Miss Nas, please. Maybe we can start with Miss Nas.
Yep, I agree. I suka soalan ni sebab soalan ni di mana semuanya bermula macam betul Prof cakap tadi. I am the ugly duckling in the family. I always being called ugly duckling in the family. So at first, at the younger age, I memang is affected. I always rasa tak confident. Always rasa, am I anak betul ke anak angkat? My mom always say, you anak cini ikan kat depan tu, you seorang je, lain muka, you seorang je ni, I thought we understand, it started as a joke or as a tease towards me, but as a child at that age, you affected a little bit, as for me, as a anak, and from my advice is from home, I think parents, aunties especially, need to stop all this, because we never know apa perasaan budak tu or apa will affect that child and somebody the besar nanti, and I'm thankful because of that, getting this a lot from my immediate family. I become more stronger, so if people out there want to call me names or my friends want to call me names, dia macam tak affected sangat sebab I got it from my family, so it's okay. Itu lagi sakit. So from kawan-kawan ni, alah, yang benda ni, But at one point, I'm macam, it's okay. Oh, aku ugly duckling eh. It's okay. I will do myself, I will make my hair. I will, macam, okay, mami cantik tak ni? Compete myself, But I think that is experience for everyone out there, every children, Yeah, especially plus size. Haha.
Thank you, Miss Nas. So, Miss Liana, you want to add on anything regarding that?
Yes. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. But I agree with what Professor and Ms. Nas said earlier. See, that's why it's so important to advocate for mental health, to let people know that what they say has an effect on others. Because usually these kinds of situations happen amongst the older generation. Because there's a lot of it's very imbued in the society, like the example mentioned by Professor earlier. The machi would come and comment and say all of these comments and stuff like that. It's because to them that is what they experienced, and it carries down over time. People don't realize the impact that their words have on others, because they think, oh, if I manage to go through it, then they will survive perfectly well because I'm okay, look at me, They think that if what they experienced and what they went through, they grew up perfectly fine, so they could do the same thing towards the younger generation because they survived, so the younger generation will also survive. So this is the mindset that most people typically have, which is why it's so important to advocate for these kinds of issues, to create awareness, to improve the mental health literacy, because a lot of people don't know that people might not show how they are influenced by certain things. Like Ms. Naz mentioned earlier, you don't normally, I wouldn't say air your dirty blankets, but like you wouldn't normally tell people what you're going through. So you would show a strong face towards everyone else. So you might look perfectly okay, but no one knows the internal effects that these experiences have on others. So that's why it's so important to create that understanding, to openly discuss these kinds of things so that they don't repeat in the future, so that these kinds of situations can lessen over time.
Thank you, Miss Liana. So, MC Yasmin, is there any questions from the Google Meet before we jump on to the YouTube?
Yes, it seems like we have another questions, Mr. Imran, from our participant, like here in Google Meet.
Yes, please.
So I would like to invite Miss Z. Miss Z, are you here?
Miss Z?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes,
Hi.
Miss Z.
Could you please introduce
Okay.
yourself? What would you
Okay,
like to ask?
my name is Ajimati Zamil. I'm taking hospitality and tourism management. So my question is, some of my friends, they complain about their body is fat, but in reality they are skinnier than me. So is that kind of body shaming?
I see. So the question there is is a very confusing one actually. So I think we need to define the question first. So Professor, you would like to answer the question first?
Well, I think that sounds more like a body image confusion. Many people have that as well, right? I think if you reflect on yourself, everyone here, at some point in your life, you look at yourself in the mirror, you find some imperfections here and there you would like to improve upon if you can. You can check with the prettiest person on earth, whatever, there still be something that they're not satisfied with the body. That's nature of human being. Allah is great. Only He is complete and paling lengkap and everything. So I wouldn't regard that as that. It's more like a comparison. People like to compare things. Not just body. If you have a bigger car, you compare a smaller car. You have a small car, you compare with someone who only has a motorbike. All those things. That's the nature of human being. Now, however, if those friends of yours, kept doing that and consistently, persistently, and they are actually referring to themselves, I wonder whether they actually have some problem. For instance, a quite common presentation in eating disorder, especially anorexia nervosa, is that body image issue. If you have ever seen someone with anorexia nervosa, and you ask as a psychiatrist sometimes ask them to draw a picture of themselves, whatever size they actually is, they will draw themselves like extremely big. Even if you ask them to look in the mirror in front of you, ask them to draw, they still look at themselves that way, although they just as thin as a finger like that. So those are the issues. So I think we can take it as a joking comparison, but if they have it persistently, I think it's time for them to seek help, I would say. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. So, Miss Nas or Miss Liana, either one of you would like to jump into the question as well? Miss Liana,
Right.
please.
Yes. I'd actually like to comment on this because a lot of times it's this is for both the person who is commenting and the person who has heard the comment. So for the person who is commenting, most normally they themselves, like Professor said, have their own insecurities. So they could honestly think that there's something that they need to fix about themselves. And they themselves feel like they're not skinny enough or that they need to lose weight or all of these things. This is all because of how the society has ingrained on all of us the societal concept of what is beautiful. So people, when they look at movies, when they look at media, when they look at all of these things, they tend to get influenced by what they see. So they would think, oh, all of these people are very beautiful and they're very, very skinny. So it doesn't really matter how skinny they actually are, but they would envision themselves to be even skinnier, to be like the models that they see on media and whatnot. So most likely it's not meant as a personal attack or any negative vibes for the people around them, but just a comment that they make towards themselves. Now, for the person hearing, I think it is healthier for both yourself and others to take it positively. by what I mean is that husnuzon.
Husnul.
Kita berbaik sangka kan. So janganlah, don't think that oh, are they saying it towards me? Don't overthink it. It's probably them, they're just saying their own, they're just voicing out their own insecurities, and they want a friend to support them through it, and you are that friend. So berbaik sangka towards what is going on, and always take things positively. When you approach it from that kind of mindset, everything changes, and there is no negative vibe or nothing that could be seen as I guess negative or hurtful in that certain scenario.
Thank you, Miss Liana. So I think we'll jump into right to the next question. So we actually have a question from Mr. Zaki from YouTube Live. So his question is, I have seen many debates on people saying that it is wrong for obese people to say all bodies are perfect, while people who want them to be healthier, they get very angry. So I would like your opinion. So I think this question is more people like saying they just I think the society is trying to help those people who are maybe overweight or plus size or obese. I think they're specifically saying obese people. So obese people are using the excuse of all bodies are perfect. I'm not gonna work out. So what is your opinion on people who are using this? Menggunakan alasan semua orang perfect lah. Aku tak perlu pergi gym lah. So what is your opinion? So maybe we'll jump to Miss Nas first. If you have ada nak cuba menjawab soalan tu.
Okay, tu bila I cakap about we are beautiful in our ways, doesn't mean that kita when come orang yang obesity, kita perlukan kesihatan yang baik lah, As long as we are healthy, doesn't mean that orang kurus tak ada penyakit. Kadang-kadang orang kurus lagi banyak penyakit, daripada orang yang obese. So as long as we are healthy, we eat good food, we drink a lot of water, we take care of our sleep, apa semua. Doesn't matter whether you're thin, you're fat, you're obese. It's okay as long as you're happy. If you're not happy, you have to do something about it. You have to do something about it. Allah pun marah. Apa benda yang memudaratkan kita pun tak elok kan, tak baik. Jadi, benda yang baik-baik je lah. Okay?
Thank you, Ms.
Yeah,
Nas.
that's all.
So, Professor Najib, you'd like to add on?
Yeah, I think this question is what I would say as, I don't know there is such word, but anti-body shaming kind of thing, concept, because it is just the opposite. We have been talking about body shaming. That means people commenting with some kind of bad intention. Yeah, that is generally speaking. And we have discussed in length just now the reasons behind it, a convenient way to communicate anger, all those stuff. But this question is about something else. It's about, someone maybe secara ikhlas, clearly trying to help. You have this weight problem, for instance, and you should control your eating, you should exercise more. I'm not asking them not to be comfortable with their body like what Nas was commenting. I'm talking about something else now. This, especially in psychiatry or as a doctor, I would say about insight. Whether or not you're aware that your problem now has reached a stage where it might be a serious matter that you need to do something about. Now, the thing is like this, the comment has to be about trying to help that person to reach a somewhat healthy, body of some kind, especially if the obesity is a bit too much and it's something we can do. But having said that, we also must understand that not all obesity are the same. For instance, there's some obesity is because of genetic factors. I'm sure you've seen sometimes in YouTube or somewhere, people who weigh like, 200 kilograms, it's not like just because they eat a lot, but sometimes they have internal diseases or, genetically they're determined to be like that. So in such situation, it is totally different argument altogether now. So I would like to look at this from slightly different angle here. So basically, if I don't think it's right, personally, to just dismiss people's comments, especially if their intention is good. Yeah, but at the same time, you shouldn't be affected if you're the person affected like this you and whatnot, making you feel bad. So take it positively and look at the intention, especially if you're trying to help. I don't know. That's my
Thank you, Professor, for that answer. Yeah. So I think it's very on how we, receive those words. And sometimes, even if we think properly, we say it nicely, people will think, "Hey, you're body shaming me." So I think somewhere miscommunication is out there. I think we should really, like I've mentioned, all three panels I've mentioned before. If you are alone and the person says it to you and they're alone as well, maybe confronting if possible, trying to find the context. That's actually a very important thing to do. If especially if you have friends and families, clarification, get the clarification as soon as possible is better. So okay, now we have another question from the YouTube live. Okay, so this question is from Nurul Jannah. So her question is specifically to Professor, but her question is very interesting. So I'm also opening this question to Miss Nas and Miss Liana. Okay, so the question is, what is your thought on cosmetic industry taking advantage with body shaming victims? So everywhere is money. So people's weaknesses can be used. So what are your thoughts? So let's start with Professor first, and then with Miss Liana, and then Miss Nas. Here we go.
This is controversial. Yeah. And as someone who personally, I'll go for evidence-based practice, evidence-based medicine, and so on. I think putting the campaign aside, oftentimes, I'm sure many of you here would agree. Some may disagree. Well, you're up to your opinion. Most of the time, when people start in a big way trying to say, it ranges from soaps to certain food, health food, and whatnot. And sometimes they use models, part of the marketing process. And with the strategy of targeting people, say, if you're a victim of body shaming, perhaps this is an option, this is a solution for you. I think on both counts, there is bad. One, first, the evidence is normally not that strong. How can the body that has developed over so many years suddenly, because of this supplement, this soap or whatever that they use over 1 or 2 months, would change everything? It's not realistic. And number two, people who are desperate, you take advantage of them as well. So on two counts, this is totally wrong. That is my view.
Thank you, Professor. So now we'd like to hear opinion from Miss Liana. Cosmetic. This is a very controversial question. So, Miss Liana, cosmetic industry, what are they doing to us?
I agree with Professor. It's wrong on both counts. And I think that tak boleh salahkan diorang juga tau, because they're a business. So when you look at these kinds of situations, you have to look at things from all angles, right? So they, as a business, they want to give you what you want. So basically, for example, like cooking shows and stuff, they're giving you recipes, what you want. Delivery services, they're giving you what you're too lazy to make. All of these things are giving you what you want. And because the society has formed such unrealistic expectations on people and set such a high beauty standard, these industries are just giving people what they want, like to lose weight fast and all of these things. Now, what makes it wrong is when they use the wrong methods. I feel like if they were completely honest, if they had their own research to back up their statements, then they could honestly sell their products and it would be okay. But when they lie about certain things, or when they use like gimmicks or models or all of these things which cheat the consumers, and that becomes an issue. When it's not evidence-based, when you're just there for the money, that becomes an issue. So it honestly depends on what kind of services they provide and if those services are actually safe for the consumers. Because sometimes, procedures and whatnot are not safe. So also need to be careful. And yeah, So I am in the gray camp. I don't think it is black or white, right or wrong. I'm in the gray camp. It depends on what services and products and stuff that are offered, and if it's safe, and if it is um, marketed and given to consumers in a healthy and in an honest way. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Miss Lana. So, in a more broad perspective, Miss Lana has mentioned about business. So let's hear it from none other than the entertainment industry. Miss Nas, what's your opinion?
Okay, I want to share my experience.
Yes,
As
please.
a plus size, I'm boleh dikatakan one of the victim of this business, taking advantage of people yang desperate macam saya. At one time, I was taking all the supplements. I was taking detox. I was taking slimming pills. I was taking this yang menjanjikan in a very short period of time without any exercise. You take this and it's like a fat burner like that. So I took all that, and then I say to my friend, ada affected for me macam heartburn. I get more emotional, more like so sweat, cold hands. So I put a stop to it. I said no, as I cannot do this to myself. I cannot torture kata rosakkan diri sendiri just because of tertipu, sebab kita desperate nak cantik, kita desperate nak kurus cepat without any extreme exercise ke apa ke kan. Apa pun from my experience, apa pun I guess you have to really choose and really see if any side effect if you take all this express. There's nothing in this world is express. Even though kita yang sekarang ni tengah trend potong usus, potong perut sebab nak kurus, sebabkan atas alasan diabetes, atas alasan untuk kesihatan, tapi at the same time you nak kurus cepat. You have the money, you do it. But you never know the effect nanti when you go old. You hilang nikmat makan you hilang you punya appetite, and you affect your body, kurang nutrition. So please out there, jangan tertipu macam I pun pernah tertipu, and pilih yang betul-betul sesuai. If it's really you need it, then you do it. Ikut prosedur yang betul. If not, jangan sesuka hati beri detox itu, detox ini, torture diri sendiri. No. Because it will affect you, and I've seen in front of my eyes, my friends, family members yang jadi mangsa kepada this business of apa tu cepat kurus, cepat cantik tu. Yeah, no.
Thank you, Miss Nas. So,
Imran, yes, to add something more.
Oh, sure, sure. Please.
Just following on what Nas has just said, that she's been victimized by all these people. I just remember now from my personal experience now, seeing people actually wanting to lose weight and whatnot, even, of course, related. And of course, I'm not going to name names, but this and this many years ago anyway. Yeah, I'm not, revealing who this are. One of the artists is a lot different generation from us, of course. You don't have to know who. Yeah. Now, it's like this, because of the pressure with I think she's a dramatist. Yeah. So a lot of pressure in there. So he or she has to keep certain ways. And so one of the things about slimming pills and whatnot, I have this particular person who came to see me. Maybe initially started off with that, wanting, and people recommended, and so off. Now the supplements, all those things, sometimes they are not regulated well, and as a result, they may contain certain things which can be very harmful. One of the common ingredients of these slimming pills, especially those which are sold over the internet, Facebook and whatnot, they contain amphetamine-like substances. Amphetamine, because amphetamine is known to help lose weight. Yeah, And that person that I'm talking about, when she came to see me, she was psychotic already, mentally ill. She started hearing voices, and she's not like that. In real life, before she started having all that, she was okay, normal person. And when I asked for the question, and finally I found out, oh yeah, she's been taking all this, and I found out later, yeah, it contains all those things. So it can be as bad as that. You can become psychotic even if you don't take extra caution in taking all those things. And they're not regulated; they don't care. And no Ministry of Health will go and find them because most of the time they are sold illegally as well. Not regulated. So a caution for everyone here also. If you ever want to try that, make sure it's really licensed kind of medication or supplements. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. So that is a more of a very more professional in terms of licensing and such. So make sure if you want to get some medicine and all and supplements, make sure it is from the right source, the right producers, and make sure to get it's right. Because we don't know what you're consuming will be danger to yourself. So you have to be careful. All right. So thank you so much to all our audience and all the questions. I believe there's a lot more questions that needs to be answered, and I'm very sorry due to the time limit, we have to end our session here. So thank you once again to Professor, Miss Liana, Miss Nas, and for spending your time with us and answering all our questions. And before I pass the before I pass the floor to the MC, I would just like to, we've learned so much of this, so many words and advices we've heard from all the panels. They can become the quote of the day for you, So maybe I would just like to throw one into the bin for everyone. So, as mentioned in Al-Quran, ayat 58 of Surah Al-Ahzab, for those who abuse believing men and women unjustifiably, they will definitely bear the guilt of slander and blatant sin. Surah Al-Ahzab ayat 58, dan orang-orang yang menyakiti orang-orang yang mukmin dan mukminat tanpa kesalahan yang mereka perbuat, maka sesungguhnya mereka telah memikul kebohongan dan dosa yang nyata. So I will pass the mic session to our MC, Miss Yasmin. The floor is yours. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Miss Yasmin, you are needed on floor.
All right. Thank you so much to our moderator, Mr. Imran. Okay, so now with the last question being answered. So now last question.
Sorry, Miss Yasmin, you're breaking out. You're breaking in and out a bit.
I'm so sorry, there is been a problem.
Yes, it's okay. Take your time. So I just like to recap for everyone. So make sure everything that you've learned today. You can self-reflect. Okay. So Miss Yasmin, are you okay? Is the internet connection is fine? It's okay. Take your time.
Is it okay now? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Okay. All right. Mr. Imran?
Yes. Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. So is it clear now?
Yes.
All right. I'm so sorry for the bad connection. So let me move forward. Okay. So now with the last question being answered, it has concluded that Stop Body Shaming, Every Skin Color is Beautiful has now finished. So on behalf of Stop Body Shaming organizer, School of Hospitality and Creative Art, we would like to thank once again our panels, Professor Dr. Muhammad Najib from IMS Center, Ms. Nurulena Faisal from MIASA, our guest panel, Ms. Masali, our moderator, Ahmad Imran, and all the audience who attended our program today. Guys, a beautiful quote by Mufti Mang that you may want to keep motivate yourself in the future.
Okay, so the line is not very well. I think we're going to have a photo session with everyone here in the Google Meet. So everyone, you may open your mics. Yeah, sorry, you open your cameras. See your beautiful smiles, right? All right. So all those out there, YouTube Live, maybe we can't see you, but just smile away. All right. 3, 2, 1, smile. Miss Jasmine, are you there? Yes,
Yes, I'm
please.
here. I'm so sorry for the bad connection just now. Okay, so can I
Yes, please.
continue? So the photo session has already ended,
Yes.
right? Yes. Okay, actually, I would like to share a beautiful quote by Mufti Mang. Okay.
Ooh, Mufti.
Yes, it says, "Stop hating your body, start living life. Don't believe what you see on social media that's been doctored, filtered, and photoshopped. What you consider flaws are celebrated by others. Your body is a gift from the Almighty, and He has made you in the best form. So take a good care of it." So before we officially end this event, I would like to request our panels, as well as our moderator, to turn on your camera for a photo session. All right, so a gentle reminder to all MSU students, before you leave this session, please don't forget to scan the QR code and upload your snapshot of participation in the Google form for your GEMS purposes. We also need everyone's cooperation to fill in the feedback form to confirm your attendance. So thank you. That's all from me. Assalamualaikum and goodbye.
Hi, Miss Anna, Prof. Najib, and also Miss Jenny. My name is Ashraf, the advisor for the event. On behalf of School of Hospitality and Creative Arts, we would like to thank to all the panel from Najib, Miss Anna, from Mita, and also Miss Natalie. Thank you very much and datang event ini. Really appreciate it and with the good info. Thank you so much.
Anytime. You're welcome. Thanks for inviting me.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Ashraf, for the experience and opportunity.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Iman, to be our moderator for today. Thank you for the MC and all the committee members. You have a good job. Okay, Prof. Najib and also Miss Anna, thank you very much. You may leave the Google Meet. Our organizer will contact you. Thank you very much once again.
Can we leave now?
Sorry?
What
Can we
happens
leave?
now? Do we leave now or like?
Yes. You can leave now, and later on, the organizer will contact you for the module show.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Prof. Najib. Thank you, Miss Naseli.
Boleh minta? I guess yang apa ni, yang bukan thank you.